You're going to die. I don't say that to be dark. I say it because it's the most important fact about your existence and we almost never talk about it. You have maybe 80 years, if you're lucky, if nothing goes wrong, 80 years to experience everything you'll ever experience, to love everyone you'll ever love, to do everything you'll ever do. That's it. That's all you get. And here's the thing nobody tells you. You didn't ask for this. You didn't choose to be born. You didn't pick your country, your parents, your body, your starting conditions. You just woke up one day, inside a life already in progress, on a planet you didn't design, in a society you didn't build. And now you have to figure out how to spend your handful of decades before they run out. So here's my question. Given how little time you have, given that you didn't choose to be here, given that this is the only life you'll ever get, who has the right to tell you how to live it? This channel doesn't exist to make money. It exists to spread ideas. But here's the thing about YouTube. The algorithm decides who sees this. And the algorithm watches what you do. So if you want more people to hear this message, you have to tell the algorithm it matters. Like, comment, subscribe, share. That's the language it speaks. If you believe autonomy matters, if you believe people should hear this, then that's how we grow. That's how ideas spread. Share it with someone who's ready to think differently. Part 1. What is autonomy? Before we go further, let me define this word. Autonomy. It comes from Greek. Auto self, nomos law. Self-law, self-governance, self-rule. It means you are the rightful authority over your own life. Not your parents, not your government, not your tribe, not the mob, not the majority. You. Autonomy is your right to control your own body, direct your own mind, make your own choices, hold your own beliefs, speak your own thoughts, form your own relationships, and build your own life. It's the recognition that your life belongs to you and to no one else. This isn't selfishness. It's not narcissism. It's not doing whatever you want without consequences. It's something deeper. It's the acknowledgement that you are the only person who will ever live your life. You're the only one inside your head. You're the only one who will experience your joys, suffer your pains, and face your death. And because no one else can live your life for you, no one else has the right to control it for you. Part 2. The oldest idea in the world. Here's something remarkable. Every major religion and wisdom tradition in human history, despite disagreeing about almost everything else, seems to converge on this one point. The freedom to choose is sacred. It's as if every civilization, every prophet, every sage who ever contemplated the human condition arrived at the same conclusion. The Creator, however you conceive of that, gave humans the ability to choose. And that gift is not an accident. It's the point. It's the gift of free will. And here's something critical to understand. You cannot have free will without autonomy. And you cannot have autonomy without free will. They are mutually inclusive. Two sides of the same coin. Free will is the capacity to choose. Autonomy is the right to exercise that capacity without interference. What good is the ability to choose if someone else controls your choices? What good is the right to self-governance if you lack the power to actually govern yourself? The Creator gave us free will. But free will means nothing if other humans, governments, mobs, tyrants can override it. Autonomy is the principle that protects the gift. Let me show you how every major tradition recognized this. Judaism, the oldest of the Abrahamic faiths, puts it plainly in Deuteronomy. I have set before you life and death, blessing and curse. Therefore choose life. Not, I will choose for you. Not, obey without question. Choose. The entire moral framework of Judaism rests on the premise that humans have genuine choice, that we can follow the commandments or reject them, and that this choice is what makes our obedience meaningful. If we had no choice, there could be no covenant, no relationship, no moral weight to our actions. Christianity builds on this foundation. The story of Eden isn't about God creating robots who automatically obey. It's about God creating beings with the capacity to choose, even to choose wrongly. The tree wasn't put there as a trap, it was put there as a choice. And the entire Christian narrative, fall, redemption, salvation, only makes sense if humans genuinely choose. You can't accept grace if acceptance isn't a real choice. You can't repent if you had no freedom to sin in the first place. As Christian theologians have argued for 2 millennia, love that is forced is not love. For God to create beings capable of genuine love, He had to create beings capable of genuine choice, including the choice to reject Him. Islam, often caricatured as fatalistic, actually makes free will central to its entire theology. The Quran states directly in Surah 2, 256, "Let there be no compulsion in religion." Think about that. The Holy Book of Islam explicitly says faith cannot be forced. Why? Because forced belief isn't belief. It's performance. It's meaningless. Islamic theology holds that humans will be held accountable on the Day of Judgment. But accountability is only possible if the actions being judged were freely chosen. If everything were predetermined, judgment would be unjust. The very concept of submission to God, Islam literally means submission, implies a choice. You cannot submit what you never possessed. The act of surrendering your will to God presupposes that you have a will to surrender. Hinduism in the Bhagavad Gita stages an entire dialogue about choice. The warrior Arjuna faces a terrible decision: fight a just war against his own family, or refuse and allow evil to triumph. Lord Krishna doesn't simply command him. He teaches him, explains, reasons with him, shows him the nature of duty, action, and consequence. And then, after 18 chapters of the most profound spiritual instruction in Hindu literature, Krishna says, "I have taught you this wisdom, which is more secret than all secrets. Reflect on it fully, and then do as you choose." Do as you choose. Even God, speaking directly to a human, doesn't override the human's choice. He illuminates the path. He doesn't force anyone to walk it. Buddhism takes a different approach, but arrives at the same place. The Buddha rejected both pure determinism and pure randomness. He taught a middle way. Our actions are conditioned by causes, but within those conditions, we have the capacity to choose. This is the entire point of the Eightfold Path. You practice right action, right speech, right thought. Practice implies effort. Effort implies choice. The Buddha taught that we are bound by karma, by the accumulated weight of our past choices. But he also taught that through present choices, we can change our karma. We can break free from conditioning. We can achieve enlightenment. If we had no choice, enlightenment would be impossible. There would be nothing to achieve, only processes unfolding without any agent capable of directing them. The very existence of Buddhist practice meditation, mindfulness, ethical cultivation, presupposes the reality of choice. What does this tell us? Across thousands of years, across every continent, across traditions that agree on almost nothing else, the freedom to choose keeps appearing as sacred. Whether it's called free will, moral agency, the divine spark, or the capacity for enlightenment, the core insight is the same. Humans are not puppets. We are beings capable of genuine choice. And that capacity is not a flaw to be corrected or a danger to be controlled. It's the whole point. It's what makes us moral beings rather than sophisticated machines. It's what makes love possible rather than mere programming. It's what makes life meaningful rather than just a sequence of events. Now, I'm not making a religious argument here. You don't have to believe in any god to accept what follows. But it's worth noting, if every major wisdom tradition that has grappled with the human condition concluded that choice is fundamental to human dignity, maybe they were onto something. Maybe autonomy isn't just a modern political concept. Maybe it's the oldest insight of our species rediscovered again and again by every culture that asks the question, what does it mean to be human? And the answer, across all of them, seems to be human is to choose. Part 3. The starting point. Let's start with what we know for certain. 1. You exist, You're here, conscious, aware, reading these words or hearing this voice. Whatever you are, soul, brain, emergent phenomenon, you're experiencing something right now. 2. You didn't choose this. No one asked you if you wanted to be born. No one asked where, or when, or to whom. You were thrown into existence without consent. 3. Your time is finite. You will die. Everyone you know will die. Every human who has ever lived has died or will die. This isn't pessimism, it's physics. Entropy wins eventually. 4. This is all you get. Maybe there's an afterlife. Maybe there's reincarnation. Maybe there's nothing. But whatever comes next, if anything, this life, this consciousness, this specific experience of being you will end. These 4 facts are true for every human being who has ever lived. And from these 4 facts, I'm going to derive something radical. The only thing that matters is autonomy. Part 4. Why autonomy matters. Here's why this matters. Your time is running out. Right now. As you read this. Seconds are ticking away that you will never get back. Every moment someone else controls. Every choice someone else makes for you. Every path someone else blocks is time stolen from your finite existence. If you live 80 years, you have about 700,000 hours. Sounds like a lot. But you'll sleep through 230,000 of them. You'll spend maybe 90,000 working, another 30,000 eating, 20,000 commuting. What's left? Maybe 300,000 hours of actual living, of choosing, of experiencing, of being you. That's all the time you have to. Fall in love, raise children, create something meaningful, explore the world, find your purpose, make your mark, say goodbye. 300,000 hours. And the clock is already running. So, when someone tells you how to spend those hours, when a government says, you can't put this substance in your body, when a religion says you can't love this person, when a law says you can't work this job or start this business or say this thing, they're not just restricting your freedom, they're taking your life. Not all at once, but hour by hour, choice by choice, possibility by possibility. They're spending your finite time according to their priorities instead of yours, and you can never get it back. Part 5. The equal claim, but here's where it gets interesting. Everything I just said about you is also true about everyone else. Your neighbor didn't choose to be born either. Your enemy has the same finite lifespan. The person you disagree with most is also burning through irreplaceable hours. Everyone, every single human being is in the same situation, thrown into existence without consent, given a handful of decades, trying to figure out what to do with them. And this creates the fundamental tension of human society. Your autonomy can conflict with theirs. You want to play loud music. They want to sleep. You want to build a factory. They want clean air. You want to practice your religion. They want to escape it. You want to swing your fist. Their face is in the way. So autonomy can't be absolute. It can't mean do whatever you want, because your freedom could destroy someone else's. And their life is just as real as yours. Their time is just as finite. Their claim to self-governance is just as valid. Which leads to the only principle that makes sense. Your autonomy ends where another's begins. Part 6. The principle. Let me say that again, because this is the foundation of everything. Your autonomy ends where another's begins. You have absolute sovereignty over your own life until your choices start invading someone else's equal sovereignty over theirs. This is not a compromise. It's not a balance. It's not your rights versus their rights. It's a logical boundary built into the concept of autonomy itself. Because if you use your freedom to destroy someone else's freedom, you're not exercising autonomy. You're denying it. If you claim the right to control your own life, you must, by the same logic, recognize everyone else's right to control theirs. Anything else is hypocrisy. Anything else is saying, my life matters, but yours doesn't. And if we're all in the same boat, all thrown here without consent, all running out of time, all trying to make something of our brief existence, then no one's life matters more than anyone else's. Equal sovereignty. That's the principle. Not equal outcomes, not equal abilities, not equal success, equal claim to your own life. Part 7. What this means in practice. So what does this actually look like? Your body is yours. You can put whatever you want into it. Drugs, alcohol, unhealthy food, tattoo ink, your call. You can modify it, decorate it, harm it if you choose. It's yours. But you can't use your body to harm someone else's. No assault, no rape, no murder. Their body is theirs. Your mind is yours. You can believe anything. Religion, atheism, conspiracy theories, unpopular opinions, your call. No one can force you to think differently. No one can punish you for your thoughts. But you can't force your beliefs on others. No theocracy, no thought police, no compelled speech. Their mind is theirs. Your property is yours. You earned it, you keep it. You can use it, waste it, give it away. Your call. But you can't use your property to violate others. No pollution that poisons their air. No fraud that steals their savings. Their property is theirs. Your choices are yours. Who to love, what to do, where to live, how to spend your time, your call. But you can't make choices that trap others. No slavery, no coercion, no manipulation that removes their ability to choose. Their choices are theirs. The pattern is clear. Maximum freedom for you, bounded only by equal freedom for everyone else. Part 8. Why this should be the highest law. Every political system is built on some foundation. Monarchy says, the king's authority is supreme. Theocracy says, God's law is supreme. Communism says, the collective good is supreme. Fascism says, the nation, race is supreme. Democracy says, the majority will is supreme. Each of these systems has a fatal flaw. They all place something above the individual. The king can take your property. God's representatives can control your behavior. The collective can demand your sacrifice. The nation can send you to die. The majority can vote away your rights. In every case, some external authority gets to override your autonomy, gets to spend your finite hours according to their priorities. But why should anyone have that power? You didn't consent to the king. You might not believe in that God. You didn't choose the collective. You didn't pick the nation. And why should 51% of people get to control the other 49%? Autonomy is different. It doesn't place anything above the individual. It doesn't give any external authority the right to control your life. It simply says, your life is yours, their life is theirs, and the only legitimate use of force is to prevent one from invading the other. That's it. That's the whole foundation. No kings, no gods, no collectives, no majorities. No one with the right to rule your life but you. Part 9. The role of government. So where does government fit? Government is a tool. Nothing more. Its only legitimate purpose is to protect your autonomy from those who would violate it. Someone tries to kill you, government stops them. Someone steals from you, government makes them pay restitution. Someone defrauds you, government holds them accountable. That's it. Protection and justice. Not morality enforcement. Not wealth redistribution. Not social engineering. Not telling you how to live. Protection and justice. Everything else is overreach. Everything else is someone using government power to control your life according to their values. And here's the kicker. Government itself is the biggest threat to autonomy because government has power. Armies, police, courts, prisons. It can take your money through taxes, your freedom through imprisonment, your life through execution. So any government worthy of the name must be constrained, limited, bound by rules it cannot break. And the rule that should bind it most tightly is this: government shall not violate the autonomy of any person except to protect the autonomy of others. One sentence, one principle, no exceptions. Part 10. What about? I know what you're thinking. What about hard case? What about children? Children have autonomy too, but developing autonomy. They're becoming self-governing beings. They're not there yet. Parents are stewards, not owners. Their job is to protect the child's growing autonomy until the child can exercise it themselves. Abuse violates the child's autonomy. Neglect fails to protect it, making irreversible decisions for them before they can understand and consent steals their future autonomy. The principle holds. What about people who want to harm themselves? Their body, their choice, even bad choices. We can offer help. We can provide information. We can care about them, but we don't get to force them. Because the moment we override their choices for their own good, we've declared that we know better than they do how to spend their finite hours. And we don't. We can't. We're not them. What about emergencies? Even emergencies don't suspend autonomy. If you have a contagious disease, your movement threatens others, so quarantine is justified. But locking down healthy people, that's not protecting autonomy. That's violating it. Forced medical procedures? My body is mine, even in a pandemic. Seizing property? No crisis justifies theft. The principle holds, especially in emergencies, when the temptation to override it is strongest. What about the common good? There is no common good apart from individuals. Society is an abstraction. It doesn't feel pain. It doesn't have hopes. It doesn't die. Only people do. When someone says the common good, they usually mean what I think is good, imposed on everyone. But that's just their preference, dressed up in noble language. And their preferences don't override your autonomy. Part 11. Why this is hopeful. I know this might sound cold, individualistic, lonely. It's not. Autonomy doesn't mean isolation. It doesn't mean selfishness. It doesn't mean you against the world. It means voluntary connection instead of forced conformity. When you choose to help someone freely, without compulsion, that's real generosity. When you choose to love someone freely, without arrangement, that's real love. When you choose to join a community freely, without coercion, that's real belonging. Autonomy doesn't destroy human connection. It makes it meaningful. Because connection that's forced isn't connection. It's captivity. Love that's arranged isn't love. It's transaction. Belonging that's mandatory isn't belonging. It's imprisonment. The most beautiful things in life, love, friendship, creativity, meaning, can only exist between free people making free choices. Autonomy isn't the enemy of community. Autonomy is the foundation of genuine community. Part 12. The alternative? What's the alternative to autonomy? Someone else controlling your life. Someone else deciding what you can put in your body. Someone else telling you what you can believe. Someone else determining who you can love. Someone else spending your finite hours on their priorities. And who would that someone be? Politicians? The ones who've been in power for 40 years, enriching themselves while the country crumbles? Experts? The ones who've been wrong about everything from weapons of mass destruction to the food pyramid? The majority? The same majority that supported slavery, banned alcohol, and criminalized homosexuality? Religious leaders? Which ones? Who's God? There is no one qualified to run your life but you. Not because you're perfect. You'll make mistakes. You'll make choices you regret. But they'll be your mistakes, your choices, your life. And that's better, infinitely better than living according to someone else's plan. Because at least then, whatever happens, you were the author of your own story. Part 13. The finite life argument. Let me bring it back to where we started. You have maybe 80 years. Probably less. Definitely not more than 120. That's it. That's your entire existence. In the cosmic scale, you're a mayfly, a brief flicker of consciousness in an infinite void. And somehow, for reasons we don't understand, you get to experience that flicker, to be aware, to feel joy and sorrow and love and loss. You get maybe 30,000 days of this, if you're lucky. So who has the right to waste even one of them on their agenda instead of yours? Who has the right to tell you what to believe when you have so little time to figure out what's true? Who has the right to tell you who to love when you have so few years to love anyone at all? Who has the right to tell you how to live when your life is so staggeringly, heartbreakingly short? No one. That's the answer. No one has that right, because your life is yours, the only one you'll ever have. And every moment someone else controls is a moment stolen from your tiny, precious, irreplaceable allocation of time. Part 14. The practical vision. So what would a society built on autonomy actually look like? Laws would be simple. One principle: protect autonomy, punish violation. No 180,000 pages of regulations. No laws you need a lawyer to understand. No crimes without victims. Government would be limited. No power to control what you put in your body. No power to dictate what you believe. No power to tell you who to love or how to live. Just protection and justice. Nothing more. Accountability would be real. Violate someone's autonomy? You make it right. Restitution. Restoration. And if you keep violating, removal from society. But no punishment for victimless crimes. No caging people for what they do to themselves. Both left and right would get something. Both would lose something. The left gets bodily autonomy, drug legalization, freedom from religious imposition. The right gets gun rights, property rights, freedom from forced association. Neither side gets to impose their vision on the other. Both sides get to live according to their own values. That's the deal. That's the only sustainable peace. Not victory for one side, not compromise, not balance. Mutual sovereignty. Your life is yours. Mine is mine. We leave each other alone. That's the world autonomy builds. Part 15. Closing argument. We are here. None of us chose to be. We opened our eyes one day inside a universe already in motion on a planet we did not design, among people we did not select, for a span of time we cannot extend. That is the human condition. No choice in arrival, no control over departure, and very little time in between. So what do we owe each other? Knowing this is all we get. Not obedience, not conformity, not surrender. Just this. Your autonomy is sacred. So is theirs. You get your handful of years to live as you choose. They get their handful of years to live as they choose. And the only rule is that neither of you gets to steal from the other. Your autonomy ends where another's begins. That should be the highest law of the land. Not because some constitution says so, not because some philosopher argued for it, not because some government permits it, because life is short, because you didn't choose to be here, because this is all you get, and no one has the right to live it for you. Your autonomy ends where another's begins. That should be the highest law of the land.